The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring as red lights painted the dimly lit bridge of the USS Valor. "Captain, we're losing control!" shouted Commander Samir Patel, gripping the console as if it were a lifeline. Lyra Jensen, the Valor's steadfast captain, narrowed her eyes, focusing on the chaotic readouts flooding her display. "Divert all power to the stabilizers," she ordered, her voice steady despite the turmoil. The ship groaned beneath them, a creature struggling against the grip of an unseen force. Outside the reinforced viewport, the planet Zara loomed larger, a swirling mass of green and violet, both beautiful and terrifying. As Samir's fingers danced over the controls, he exchanged a worried glance with Dr. Emily Reyes, the ship's xenobiologist. Her brow was furrowed, not just from concern about the ship, but from the alien world that beckoned below. "We can't risk crashing on that planet, Captain. It's known for its lethal wildlife," Emily cautioned, her tone laced with urgency. "Better than drifting into oblivion," Lyra shot back, her heart racing as she calculated their options. They had been sent to investigate strange energy readings coming from Zara, but this unanticipated gravitational pull threatened to end their mission before it even began. "Stabilizers engaged," Samir announced, his voice strained as the ship lurched again. "But we're still losing altitude. Reinforce thrusters. Get us level," Lyra barked, gripping the armrest of her chair as if it could ground her against the chaos. She could feel the tension mounting, the weight of her crew's lives pressing down on her shoulders. The ship's engines roared in protest as they fought against the planet's pull. Outside, swirling clouds sparked with violet lightning, creating a surreal backdrop to their struggle. Lyra glanced at the view screen and noticed something else, a silhouette emerging from the thick clouds. It was too large to be anything they had encountered before. "Emily, what do you see?" Lyra asked, keeping her voice even despite the rising fear. Emily squinted at the screen, her scientific curiosity battling with instinctive dread. "It's some kind of structure. It looks ancient." The excitement in her voice was palpable, igniting a flicker of hope in Lyra's chest. If they could land near it, they might uncover valuable insights into this mysterious world. "Brace for impact," Samir shouted as the ship bucked again, sending equipment tumbling across the bridge. Lyra's stomach dropped as they neared the surface. She quickly weighed her options. "We need to make a controlled landing. Aim for that structure," she commanded, pointing to the shadowed outline on the screen. "Hold on," Samir shouted as he wrestled with the controls. The ship lurched one last time before slamming down onto the planet's surface with a jarring thud. The impact rattled every bone in Lyra's body, but they had made it, barely. "Status report," Lyra demanded, quickly regaining her composure. Smoke curled from a console, but the ship's systems flickered back to life, and a chorus of beeps indicated that they were still operational. "Minor damage to the aft thrusters, but we're intact," Samir replied, wiping sweat from his brow. As the crew began assessing the damage, Emily's gaze was already drawn to the window, where the alien landscape unfolded like a vivid tapestry. Towering trees twisted towards the sky, their leaves glowing softly in hues of blue and green, while strange creatures scuttled in the underbrush, their eyes glinting with curiosity. "Captain, we need to investigate that structure," Emily urged, her voice filled with a mixture of dread and excitement. "It could provide answers about this planet, and us." Lyra took a deep breath, her heart pounding with the weight of their situation. "Agreed. Prepare an away team," she said, feeling the familiar spark of adventure igniting within her. "Let's find out what secrets Zara holds." As the crew suited up, tension hummed in the air, a mixture of fear and anticipation. The unknown awaited them outside, an alien world with its perils and mysteries. Yet, in that moment, Lyra felt a sense of determination rising within her. They had survived the descent. Now, they would face whatever challenges awaited them on Zara. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the galaxy, might depend on it. The airlock hissed as it opened, revealing the vibrant world outside the USS Valor. Lyra stepped cautiously onto the surface of Zara, the sensation of foreign soil beneath her boots sending an exhilarating chill through her. The atmosphere was thick with moisture, carrying the scent of rich earth and blooming flora. Large, bioluminescent plants pulsed softly in shades of blue and green, illuminating the clearing with an otherworldly glow. "Stay close, everyone," Lyra instructed, her voice steady but laced with an undertone of excitement. She glanced back at Samir and Emily, both peering curiously at the alien landscape. Samir, the ever-analytical officer, scanned their surroundings with his handheld scanner, while Emily's eyes gleamed with wonder. "Captain, the readings are off the charts," Samir reported, his brow furrowing as he examined the device. "Radiation levels are normal, but the atmospheric composition, it's unlike anything we've encountered before." Emily knelt to touch a vibrant, translucent flower, marveling at its shimmering petals. "It's beautiful," she breathed, brushing her fingers against the delicate surface. "We could learn so much here." "Just remember, beauty can be deceiving," Lyra reminded her, glancing warily at the dense foliage beyond. "We don't know what's lurking in these woods." As they moved deeper into the clearing, the ancient structure loomed larger, its stone walls etched with strange symbols that seemed to pulse with a faint energy. A sense of reverence washed over Lyra as she approached, her heart racing with the weight of history embedded in the stone. "Captain, the structure appears to be a temple of some sort," Emily said, her voice tinged with awe. "It might be a relic of an ancient civilization. Or a trap," Samir countered, keeping his tone cautious. "We should maintain our distance until we understand more about it." Just as Lyra was about to respond, the ground beneath them trembled, sending a shudder through the air. The vibrant colors of the landscape flickered for a moment, and the eerie silence that followed felt oppressive. "What was that?" Emily whispered, eyes wide with concern. "Stay alert," Lyra commanded, her instincts kicking in. They were not alone. Suddenly, a rustling sound erupted from the underbrush. Samir spun around, aiming his scanner towards the noise. "Something's moving out there!" he shouted, his eyes darting in every direction. Before Lyra could react, a creature burst from the foliage, a massive beast with iridescent scales and glowing eyes, its body rippling with sinewy muscles. It let out a deafening roar that echoed through the clearing, sending a wave of primal fear coursing through Lyra's veins. "Back to the ship!" Lyra yelled, adrenaline surging as she grabbed Emily's arm, pulling her away from the advancing creature. Samir followed closely, his scanner clattering against his side as they sprinted back toward the safety of the Valor. The ground shook beneath them as the beast lunged, snapping its massive jaws just inches from Lyra's heels. She barely managed to dodge its attack, her heart pounding furiously in her chest. "Keep running!" she urged, forcing her legs to move faster. They reached the ship, and Samir hurriedly activated the airlock. "Hurry! Get inside!" he shouted, fear creeping into his voice. The door slid shut just as the creature crashed against it, the impact rattling the hull. "Status report!" Lyra gasped, her breath coming in quick bursts as they stumbled onto the bridge. "Systems are functional, but the creature is still outside," Samir replied, his fingers flying over the controls as he monitored the security feed. Emily leaned against the console, her eyes wide with shock. "What was that thing? And why is it so aggressive?" Lyra's mind raced as she tried to piece together the fragments of their encounter. "We need to analyze the structure further. There's something about this place that feels significant. But first, we have to deal with that creature." As the ship rocked under the weight of their unexpected guest, Lyra's resolve hardened. They had come seeking knowledge, and now they were embroiled in a fight for survival. "We will find a way to understand this world," she vowed, determination flickering in her chest. "But we must be ready for anything." With the alien creature lurking outside and the secrets of Zara yet to be uncovered, their mission had transformed into a battle against the unknown, a test of their courage and ingenuity. Lyra tightened her grip on the console, ready to face whatever came next. Inside the Valor, the atmosphere was tense. Lyra paced the bridge, her mind racing. The creature outside continued to pound against the hull, its growls reverberating through the metal like thunder. She could feel the weight of her crew's uncertainty pressing down on her shoulders. "Status report, Samir," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos outside. Shields are holding, but they won't last forever, he replied, eyes glued to the monitor. I'm running a diagnostic on the ship's systems, but if that thing finds a weak spot. His voice trailed off, leaving the unspoken dread hanging in the air. Lyra turned to Emily, who was staring at the view screen, her expression a mixture of fear and fascination. You're not thinking of going back out there, are you? She asked, her tone a mix of disbelief and concern. Not yet, Lyra assured her, though a plan was already formulating in her mind. But we need to understand what we're dealing with. That creature is part of this world, and it might be tied to the structure we found. What if it's protecting something? Emily suggested, her eyes widening with realization. What if the temple is a key to this planet, and the creature is its guardian? That's a possibility, Lyra acknowledged, the gears of her mind turning. But we can't leave it unexamined. If we want to uncover the secrets of Zara, we need to risk it. Samir looked up from his console. We should use the drones to scout the area first. Get a better look at the creature without putting ourselves in harm's way. Good idea, Lyra agreed. Prep the drones, and let's see if we can gather some intel on that temple and the creature's behavior. As Samir worked, Emily shot Lyra a cautious glance. You know this could end badly, right? If that creature sees the drones as a threat, then we'll adapt. Lyra interjected, her resolve unwavering. We're human. We find a way. A few moments later, the drones buzzed to life, their small frames darting from the ship. Lyra focused on the view screen, the grainy images of the creature materializing as the drones hovered just beyond the perimeter of the ship. The beast was massive, its scales shimmering under the ambient light, and it prowled like a predator, muscles coiling and releasing with each step. Look at its movement, Samir murmured. It's alert, but not aggressive. It's watching the ship, not charging at us. Emily leaned closer to the screen, her brow furrowing. It's as if it's waiting for something. Maybe it senses that we're not a threat. Lyra felt a flicker of hope. What if we could communicate with it somehow? Maybe there's a way to bridge the gap between our species. As if in response to her thoughts, the creature suddenly reared back, its glowing eyes locking onto the nearest drone. With a roar that rattled the ship, it lunged, snapping its powerful jaws around the small machine. Metal crumpled like paper, and the screen filled with static. Shit! It's aggressive now! Samir shouted, scrambling to regain control. Lyra's heart raced. We have to get those drones back. If it destroys them, we'll lose our only eyes outside. She quickly pressed buttons, commanding the remaining drones to retreat. As they buzzed back towards the ship, Lyra felt the oppressive weight of the creature's gaze bore into them. It was no longer a passive guardian, it was an enraged protector. Once inside, Lyra took a deep breath, collecting herself. This is going to be more challenging than I thought, she admitted. We need to find another way to approach this situation. Maybe we can try to lure it away, Emily suggested, her voice steadying. If we can create a distraction, we might be able to access the temple without it noticing. Or we could try to communicate with it, Samir added. There might be a way to show it we mean no harm. Lyra's mind raced. We need to gather more data about the creature and the temple. Samir, keep analyzing everything you can find about its behavior. Emily, let's see if we can find a way to signal it. Maybe if we show it we're not a threat. Just then, the ship rocked violently as the creature struck again, its roar echoing through the halls. Alarms blared, drowning out their thoughts, and Lyra clenched her fists. We don't have much time, she said, determination flaring within her. Let's prepare. We'll face this creature, and we'll uncover the secrets of Zara, together. The creature's roar echoed like an ominous thunderclap, shaking the valor to its core. Lyra felt the urgency swell in her chest as the alarms blared relentlessly. We need to act now, she shouted, her voice slicing through the cacophony. Ready the distraction, Samir responded, his fingers dancing over the control panel. I'll set off a series of flares to draw it away from the temple entrance. Emily, you need to prepare the signal device. On it! Emily replied, her resolve crystallizing. She rifled through the equipment, grasping the small device they had crafted from ship components, a makeshift signal designed to emit frequencies that might resonate with the creature. As the ship rocked again, Lyra steeled herself, locking eyes with her team. This is our chance to uncover the secrets of Zara. We can't let fear dictate our actions. We're here to explore, to learn. With a nod, Samir initiated the flare sequence. Bright bursts of red and blue light exploded into the twilight outside, illuminating the alien landscape. The creature halted its assault, turning its massive head toward the dazzling colors. Now, Emily! Lyra urged. Emily activated the device, sending a series of melodic sounds spiraling into the air. They pulsed like a heartbeat, an echo of life resonating against the creature's instincts. The colossal beast hesitated, its interest piqued. It's responding! Emily exclaimed, a mix of excitement and apprehension lacing her voice. But we need to hurry, it won't stay distracted for long. Let's go! Lyra commanded, adrenaline surging through her veins. She led the way, racing toward the temple entrance as the creature's attention shifted away from the Valor. The temple loomed before them, a structure woven with vines and glowing bioluminescent patterns. Each step felt charged with the weight of discovery. Lyra glanced back. The creature remained fixated on the flares, but she could see its powerful muscles tensing, ready to pounce if it felt threatened. Keep an eye on it! Samir called, eyes flicking nervously between the temple and the creature. They reached the entrance, a massive archway adorned with intricate carvings that told stories of ancient beings. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and strange flora. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped, sending a shiver down Lyra's spine. Can you feel that? Emily whispered, awe illuminating her face. It's like the temple is alive. Lyra nodded, her heart racing as she took in the vast chamber filled with strange symbols glowing faintly on the walls. This could be the key to understanding this planet, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them. We've got company! Samir shouted, pointing toward the entrance. The creature had broken free from the distraction, its massive form silhouetted against the glowing backdrop of the temple. Its eyes blazed with fury, now focused entirely on them. Back to the ship! Lyra yelled, her mind racing. We need to regroup and find another way to approach this. As they turned to flee, the creature lunged forward, its enormous jaws snapping just inches away from Lyra. She stumbled backward, barely avoiding the attack. Move! She shouted, urgency slicing through the air. Emily and Samir sprinted ahead, adrenaline propelling them as they zigzagged toward the exit. Lyra felt her heart hammering, the fear of failure thrumming in her veins. They couldn't let this creature drive them away. They had come too far to turn back now. Just as they reached the threshold, the creature's roar filled the chamber, a guttural sound that reverberated through the walls. Lyra turned to face it, a flicker of determination igniting within her. We're not your enemies! She yelled, her voice echoing. We seek understanding! For a heartbeat, the creature paused, its ferocity wavering. The air hung thick with tension, a moment suspended between conflict and connection. Lyra, we can't stay! Samir urged, panic threading his voice. But Lyra didn't want to retreat. If we can just reach it. Now! Emily shouted, grabbing Lyra's arm. We need to go! The creature snarled, but Lyra felt a flicker of hope. They had come this far, and she wouldn't give up on forging a connection. But the chance was slipping away, and as they darted out of the temple, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were meant to be more than mere intruders on this world. As the ship's doors slid shut behind them, Lyra took a deep breath, determination simmering within her. We will find a way to communicate with it, she vowed, her voice steadying. I won't let fear win. The ship's engines roared to life, and as they lifted off, she glanced back at the temple and the creature beyond, resolute in her commitment to unraveling the mysteries of Zara, one way or another.